Eddie Rosario has brought his red-hot bat to Northern California as his batting average creeps closer to 300. For the Oakland A's, Chris Davis leading his team and is among the league leaders in home runs this year. Twins heading to Northern California for the first of three between the Twins and the Oakland A's. And Twins baseball is brought to you by State Farm. And we welcome you to the Coliseum. Dick Bramer joined for the rest of this road trip by Roy Smalley. We're excited to see the debut of newly acquired left-handed starting pitcher Jaime Garcia as the Twins hope to end a four-game losing streak.
Garcia is a veteran. He's got postseason experience. He's left-handed. He could fill all the bill that the Twins need him to fill out of that fourth starter role. He's going to, as we see his career breakdown, early in his career, really good numbers. Not as good the last year and a half or so. But the Twins are looking for someone, we're looking for someone to give them 9 or 10 starts the rest of this season. This guy could really be that guy. 6 or 7 or 8 good starts, and he could really make a difference. And he can hit. Here he is in LA against the Dodgers, a grand slam home run. Dick, I don't think the Twins have one.
No, the Twins team doesn't have one, and he's happy to be part of the Twins.
I'm extremely excited, extremely humbled, and excited for the opportunity the Minnesota Twins are giving me, and they're believing in myself and getting me over here, trading one of their prospects to get me over here. Extremely humbles me down, and I'm excited to be here. So far, the time that I've been here, they've treated me so nice. They welcome me in, the players, the coaches, and and all the great things I've heard about this organization have been true so far. So, excited to contribute and hopefully help us to get to October.
And while the Twins have lost 4 in a row, they've seen the Indians and the Royals pick up win after win after win. Now an opportunity for the Twins to maybe put together a winning streak of their own.
And these are two good teams to do it against. The Oakland A's and the San Diego Padres, as you see, not the toughest of the opponents that the Twins have had. They have seen the tough ones lately, the Yankees and Dodgers right out of the break. But this is what the Twins have done this season, beat the teams that they should beat. Here are 2 right now that they can get them right back on into their winning ways.
Decent chance that over the course of this 3-game series, we'll see both Miguel Sano and Chris Davis hit a home run or 2. We'll get this series started in a moment. Did not start out the way they had hoped. After getting leads in every game, Minnesota found out why the Dodgers are baseball's best as they rattled off 3 comeback wins. Tonight, the Twins' task is to get back on track in Oakland. Minnesota's used the long ball to its advantage against the A's this season. They try to continue that trend this weekend on Fox Sports North. And so far, this has been a season of 4-game streaks for the Twins. 4 times they've had 4-game winning streaks, and 4 times they've had 4-game losing streaks. They've not had a 5-game streak in either direction. And the Twins will hope to first end the losing streak and then hopefully build a winning streak. Menard's batting order for the Twins. Brian Dozier leading off. Max Kepler hitting second. Miguel Sano back in the lineup. Then Joe Mauer, Eddie Rosario, Robbie Grossman, Zach Granite hitting seventh. A-Ray Adrianza and Jason Castro. And this weekend anyway, we're very happy we won't have to see the pitchers hit.
And rookie Daniel Gossett on the mound for Oakland. Haven't seen him yet. Doesn't have any experience at all against the Twins hitters and vice versa. So here we go.
And Dozier takes strike 1.
Watches.com first pitch.
Dozier, Kepler, and Sano here in the first inning. And that one bounces in the dirt. We've been told that Gossett's best pitch is a curveball, and it looked like he spiked one into the dirt there, 1-1. A lot of home runs allowed, 11 of them in 43 in the third innings. And now he stumbles, pushing off from the rubber.
According to his stats so far, doesn't walk a lot of people, so he must be around the plate an awful lot.
Up high, 2-1.
Guys that are around the plate a lot tend to give up a lot of home runs, but you're right. We have heard that that real good curveball he has also tends to hang and get hit a long ways.
Tapper, foul. And even before the first at bat, there's a little sense of urgency here for the Twins because Kansas City has already won its 9th straight game. Cleveland is ahead 7-0 in the 6th inning in Chicago as the Indians are looking for their 8th straight win. And Dozier swings through the breaking ball, 1 down.
Batting in the second position.
Northland Ford defense for the A's, and they've got some issues. 85 errors to lead Major League Baseball. 60 unearned runs to lead Major League Baseball. 2 Davises in the outfield along with a Joyce, Chapman, Semien, Rosales, Healy, the infielders, and Ryan Lavarnway behind the plate. Max Kepler moving up to the 2nd spot in the batting order, taking strike 1. And hacked, and it'll work out well for Kepler, who will round first, dig for second. Chris Davis's throw is offline and through to the first baseman. So Kepler getting a payback for all those check swings that are put in play for outs. This time he gets a check swing double.
And the payback mainly for all those line drives that he's hit at people this year. You love to get base hits like that. And excuse me swing, but we'll look at him take off right out of the box. He's running hard. He knows he's got a chance to leg out a double, and that's exactly what happens. Chris Davis gets the ball as quickly as he can, and throws it offline. But Kepler was going to get a double out of that because of the way he ran out of the box.
Here's Miguel Sano. Twins had the 3-game series with the Dodgers. They just got a couple of at-bats from Sano. And of course none from Byron Buxton, and those 2 guys, as Twins fans know, are 2 most dynamic players the Twins have. So you're playing the best team in baseball, the Dodgers. You need to have a full toolbox. The Twins didn't, and the results were almost predictable.
Yeah, they played them tough. They really did. They were 1 pitch and an ill-advised throw away from winning the last 2 games. So they just need to keep their heads on straight here as they are playing Oakland and San Diego. You mentioned that the Royals have are winning and Cleveland's winning. You don't want to fall any further behind, but you have to have some perspective too. They have 5 games that they can win here to finish out the road trip. And there's a lot of baseball left.
Inside to Sano, and it's 2-1. Coors Light cold hard facts tonight. And
Miguel Sano on a pretty good list in terms of driving in runs per at bat. Checked his swing, but took a strike, and it's 2-2. Two and two with Joe Mauer on deck. A high foul fly. And out of play. Have to hesitate and wait here because of all the foul territory, as we've established repeatedly. Like twice a week. Whether we're here or not, we mention the expansive foul territory here.
I really didn't like hitting here, and that's expansive foul territory. One of the reasons. You battle and you foul off some tough pitches, and you think that you've done a good job, and they stay in the ballpark, and you walk back to the bench. Not very happy.
Another 2-2 coming to Sano. Delay. I hate to call it a history. He's just getting his major league career started, but the early snapshots of Daniel Gossett suggest that he cruises through the lineup the first time. An opponent batting average is just 130, and then the second time that skyrockets to 369. Bob Melvin looking for his 1,000th career win as a manager.
Yeah, I really hope he gets it next week.
Half swing, and Sano went. Sano wants the umpire to check with the first base ump, but Mark Ripperger rung him up 2 down. Got that breaking ball again?
Yep. And Miguel out in front.
Batting in the fourth
you see
position.
Here he's open early, as if it's going to be something a little faster and a little more inside. And once your front hip opens like that, and you've already moved off your back leg, boy, it's really hard to stop the bat.
Here is Mauer hitting cleanup. Mauer takes low, ball 1.
And here's what I was talking about. Watch as he strides and his hip is gone right away. His hip is on fastball speed, and he got breaking ball speed, and that's the problem.
On the outside corner. One and one to Mauer. And hat foul off the tarp. That's 1 and 2. Twins getting a 1-out double off the bat of Kepler, trying to score first. It really wasn't the issue at Dodger Stadium. The issue was who scored last. Down and in, and it's 2 and 2.
That is a nice little breaking ball. I was thinking that it was going to be a bigger break. Told kind of a 12-6 curveball, so I was thinking a bigger break, but it's later and sharper than I was thinking. It looks good.
Bouncer to short. Semien has it, and the Twins leave Kepler at second base. Jaime Garcia coming over from the Atlanta Braves. Twins giving up a low-level minor league pitching prospect to bring him over to the Twins. And Bob Melvin, as you can see, 44 wins this year, but 999 in his career. And he, like the Twins, or he, like Paul Molitor, bringing a 4-game losing streak into this game. Here's the Menards batting order for the A's. Rajai Davis, Marcus Semien, Ryan Healy, Chris Davis, Jed Lowry, Matt Chapman, Ryan Lavarnway, Matt Joyce, and Adam Rosales. And here is Jaime Garcia's Twins debut.
Yeah, and we're excited to see him here in a Twins uniform. You know, he's got to be excited. He was talking about how pumped he is to be here with a potential contender, so it's going to be fun to watch him pitch.
And strike one. Coming over from the Braves, they're 4 games below 500, but 13 games behind the Washington Nationals in the National League East. So he came to a Twins team that was very much in contention for postseason play. As he shaves the outside corner again, it's 0-2. Veteran Rajai Davis struggling in his return to Oakland.
Say that about this whole lineup. They have not been swinging the bats well at all.
The A's hitting just .215 in the month of July.
That's hard to win games that way.
And they've really struggled. A number of the hitters have against left-handed pitching. They're hitting as a team just .224 against lefties. Pep back to the mound. Garcia gets the first out on a flip to Mauer. That wasn't a flip. That was a pretty strong throw. 1 down. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. One area where the Twins have a definite advantage over the A's. Rosario, Granite, and Kepler in the outfield. Sano, Adrianza, Dozier, Mauer, the infielders, and Jason Castro behind the plate. Marcus Semien spent some time on the disabled list. Had a wrist injury. The A's starting shortstop. And he takes up and away, ball 1.
I've really been expecting Marcus Semien to emerge as a really good player. He's got a lot of talent to hit. I think he's got the skills to play shortstop. Hasn't put it all together yet. And I know that injury he had this year really set him back.
There's 24 at bats on the year. 1-1 to Semien. Swing and a miss, 1-2. They don't know how he broke his wrist. Didn't suffer an injury being hit by a pitch or taking a wicked hop on a ground ball or anything like that. Just general wear and tear, I guess. And so he had to have a pin put in to stabilize the right wrist. 1-2. And a fastball for strike 3. 2 down. That'll bring up Ryan Healy.
Well, if Garcia has new team jitters at all, he's not showing it. He's coming right at the strike zone. His fastball moves an awful lot. He kicks the ball down until that pitch right there shocked Semien with a high fastball. So far, as advertised, he kicks the ball down pretty well. His fastball runs, and then he zipped that one in the high strike zone to get the strikeout.
Ryan Healy, the hitter. He's playing first base tonight. Yonder Alonso made the All-Star team for the A's on merit, but he's struggled since the break and has really struggled against left-handed pitching. And so Alonso, who's hitting just .183 against lefties, will sit tonight. And the Twins have another left-hander, Adalberto Mejia, ready to start tomorrow night as well. Healy takes up and away, and it's 1-1. You can see Healy against lefties has not had any problems at all.
That's not surprising, as I've watched this young guy take his at bats at both in target field and here. He's a strong looking hitter, the kind of guy that opens up quickly, just like that one right there, and that's dangerous against right-handed pitchers and a little bit easier against left-handers.
Really good first inning for the new Twin, Jaime Garcia, as the A's go down 1-2-3.
Car Soup scoop from the clubhouse. Miguel Sano says that left hand is still bothering him a little bit, still a bit sore. But he said as he took more swings in the cage, it loosened up. He's not concerned about it being an issue tonight. Hitting coach Jaime Garcia says that having Max Kepler hit second in the lineup is a good challenge for him. He says young hitters tend to think they have to change their approach when hitting in a different spot. But if Max can learn to attack it the same way, no matter where he's hitting, that would be a good step forward. A group of 16 Twins players and staff members spent yesterday golfing at Pebble Beach, and of the players, it was Joe Mauer the best round, shooting a respectable 88. Guys?
Sounds wonderful. You ever played Pebble Beach?
I did one time.
All right, now Mauer shot an 88. What did you shoot? There's a ball sliced to left, and Rosario just keeps on hitting. Leadoff single here in the second.
Joe got me by 1.
Okay. Rosario had a good series in Los Angeles. And he starts this series with a line drive single to left.
Number 36.
That'll bring up Robbie Grossman.
Yeah, the best thing about Eddie Rosario is that he just knows where the big end of the bat is, no matter where the ball is in the strike zone or out of the strike zone. He's swinging to hit it with the big end, with the sweet spot of the bat. He has a real knack for being able to throw that big end at the ball.
Robbie Grossman takes a strike at the knees. The A's have a pole shift on for Grossman on the infield. Modest average of .251, and it's been nearly 2 months since Grossman has homered. Up and in, but he still is 8th in the league in on-base percentage.
Draws an awful lot of walks. And this is, I think, interesting as you look at these splits right here. Always been a much better hitter right-handed. He would tell you that, but he's hitting about the same and has hit his home runs from the left side of the plate. Of course, he does get a fair amount of at bats left-handed, but that's I think even Robbie would say that's a bit of a surprise. No home runs and only 4 RBIs right-handed.
Squaring and thinking of pushing a bunt up the third baseline, and instead taking ball 2.
That's a really good play right there. Nobody out. They were shifted so far. You know, anytime the shift gives you an opportunity to make a bad bunt and still get a base hit, I think you ought to try it. They've now moved Chapman back over a little bit closer this time, but I think that's a really good idea.
We're told that Chapman has a tremendous arm, but you're right, it wouldn't take much of a bunt at all up the third baseline. If it stays in the grass, he's got a base hit.
Right. And in those situations, you don't have to be too fine. You just get a good ball to bunt or else take it like Robbie did.
And now 3-1.
And you don't have to run too soon. Just stay there, see the ball hit the bat and get off in a good direction and then run. So many guys when their bunt is being given to them, they start running like they have to beat it out before they ever put the bunt down. They don't need to do that.
3-1 to Grossman. And he takes up high, and the Twins have a good start to this inning. Grossman reaches with another walk, first and second, and nobody out. Zach Granite to the plate. Zach involved in that play on Wednesday night, where he regrettably threw to first base when no one was there. Sure, tough off day yesterday for Zach. Ready to get back and play a baseball game here today, and maybe an opportunity here to deliver an early hit to help erase the bad memory.
Yeah, those kinds of plays when everybody messes up, but they really stay with young players a little bit longer.
And that bunted foul. Getting a chance to play in center field because Byron Buxton right now is on a rehab assignment. And welcome back to the field. First pitch today. He hit a home run for Rochester, but maybe more impressively later in the game, he beat out an infield hit. And the reason he's on a rehab assignment, of course, he had a bit of a groin pull, but that he was able to bust it down the line and get an infield hit probably is a more encouraging sign than even the home run. 1 strike to Granite. And he takes a breaking ball for ball 1.
Yeah, there's the big one. That's a big 12-6.
That's got to be the toughest pitch to bunt, isn't it?
Oh man, it really is. That is a difficult pitch to bunt for sure. You watch this go come a long way through the strike zone there. 12-6.
Fouled away. I would think, and I'm not a physics guy, you know that, but I mean, to make the ball curve like that, you've got a lot of topspin.
Yes.
So if you bunt it and you hit the middle of the ball, you're going to pop it up, right?
You know, that's over. That physics is over my head.
Really? I got like a B in high school physics. If you're going to have topspin, it's got to be tough to bunt that ball on the ground, I would think.
Well, the good news about that, though, is that the ball is breaking down, and it's down toward the bottom of your bat. So I mean, it's toward the bottom of the strike zone. It's real easy to foul that ball straight down into the dirt because it just keeps biting down, and in that way, you know, generally, I think those pitches there are just hard to hit because you can't really anticipate where the bat's going to make contact with the ball.
Down and away, now 2-2.
You have to follow it.
Right.
You know, follow it all the way down.
Rosario's single, Grossman's walked. Granite has tried to move them along with a bunt, but now it's 2-2. Chopped up the line, foul. Well, here I thought I might have, revealed something to you about the topspin, and you're going to pop it up, and I would have gotten, Dick, I never thought about that, but you're right. And you didn't say that, so that suggests I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, it just suggests that I was thinking about other things when I had to bunt that pitch, other than the physics of it.
2-2.
You're probably right. I don't know.
Now in the dirt, 3-2. Granite's proven to be a tough strikeout. And the Twins have some speed, at least at second base. Ooh, just barely knocked it down with the web.
Yep, just barely made contact with that. And Granite taking that pitch is indicative of the kind of hitter we've seen already. He knows the strike zone. He doesn't swing at bad balls. He's a tough out.
Chops it up the line, and a foul ball.
It's kind of an old-time expression, a hitter that's a tough out. It's been around. That expression's been around forever, but really what that means is he doesn't get himself out by swinging at bad pitches. He makes you throw the ball over, and then he puts the ball in play and has a chance to get a hit. But you see what Gossett has tried to do to him. He's throwing the ball all over the place at different speeds and different spots. Granite has swung at the strikes and let the balls go by.
Another 3-2. And a drive to center field and down for a hit. Rosario hesitated. They're going to wave him around anyway. Here's the throw to the plate, and Rosario is out at the plate. Granite with a base hit. And Rosario wasn't sure how far that was going to carry into the outfield. Gene Glenn waved him home, and he is out on a good relay by the A's. See if the Twins challenge this.
Well, good swing right here. A high fastball to Zach Granite. Gets on top of the ball, lines it in, and Rosario really did not get a good read on that at all. And then Gene Glenn trying to be aggressive here, get the Twins on the board. But as you said, Dick, that the Twins, I think he got him there on the shoulder before his hand got in there. The A's, two really good relays.
It's a nice backhanded pickup by Healy. Because if that ball gets by him, 1 run scores, and the way Granite runs, he'd have at least third base. The batter is Adrianza. Taken low, ball 1.
We talked about not getting a good read on that line drive as it was when the ball landed as far as it did from the center fielder. It just the hesitation by Rosario. He didn't do the work of looking at where the outfielders were playing before the ball was hit. If he had really had a good idea where the outfielders were, he would not have hesitated.
Granite goes a little pop fly to left, and that drops for a hit. And now coming in to score easily. And now the Twins almost run themselves into an out again. Granite started toward third, and Adrianza was ready to follow him. Davis threw home, having no chance to get Grossman. The Twins are on the board. And so far in the inning, 3 singles and a walk.
Well, a little dunker into left field would score the run. Davis does not throw well and had absolutely no chance, as Dick said, to get the runner at the plate.
Jason Castro, the batter. In the inning, single walk, single, 1 run on the board. Castro takes inside, ball 1. Mentioned it's been a while since Grossman homered. It was on the first West Coast road trip out here against the Angels on June 2nd. It's been almost as long for Castro. His last home run June 8th at Safeco Field. Foul back. 1-1. Twins are 26-20 on the road. Trying to end a 4-game losing streak. And of course, while we're enjoying Twins baseball and our viewers are enjoying Twins baseball back at our ballpark, Billy Joel concert is being attended by tens of thousands of people. Castro takes one in the dirt. 2-1. Twins already with 4 hits against Gossett.
Looking for one really big hit to break it open here early, which would do a world of good to the psyche on the Twins bench, I'm sure.
2-2.
I think that's really important. The Twins are a young club for the most part, and as long as they can keep their psyches intact, which they've done all year long. Every time it looks like they're being exposed and they're not going to play well, they come roaring back. As long as they can keep that mindset and not let a losing streak bother them, they'll continue to have a chance.
To the left field corner, chased by Davis, and he makes a nice running catch. And the runners have to retreat. Castro making a bid for an extra base hit down the left field line, but Davis was able to get there for out number 2.
Going with the pitch, a fastball away.
Now batting, number 2,
does a good job of
Dozier.
trying to get it down that left field line, but Chris Davis makes a nice running catch. Zach Granite almost all the way to third. Adrianza all the way to second base. Both have to retreat.
Second base umpire Phil Cuzzy making sure that Adrianza didn't touch and round second base, which he did not. And now Brian Dozier struck out swinging his first time up. And over for strike 1. Would love to get a big 2-out hit here with what they've done this inning. You almost feel cheated if you only get 1 run out of this.
Right. That's exactly right. Boy, you really hate to make a base running mistake or early in a game like that when you have a chance to break the game open potentially. Looking for a big hit from Bryant.
Inside, 1-1. And even though we've seen Brian get base hits both on the ground and through the air to the right side, the A's have a pull shift on for Brian in the infield, with only Ryan Healy on the right side of the infield. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2.
There is so much data about where players hit the majority of the balls they put in play, and The overriding philosophy is that you can't play everywhere. I mean, you just don't. There's going to be a hole someplace. So you put your players where the data says they hit it most times, and if he hits it somewhere else, then you have to live with it.
And the dirt 2-2.
So much of the time when we see pull hitters like Brian is, and 3 infielders on the pull side of the field for Brian, there's a big hole in the right side, and you say, well, but we've seen him hit balls over there. Except that most of the balls, he'll hit an occasional ground ball over there, but most of the balls he hits the right side of the infield and outfield are in the air. So you put your ground ball guys over on the left side.
And Dozier takes a fastball off the outside corner. It's a full count with Kepler on deck. Full count. Runners will take off. And Dozier takes a call. Third strike, and Dozier throws his bat away. Mark Ripperger, the home plate umpire, and in a key situation, Dozier is rung up on strikes, leaving 2 on the bases.
Yeah, the ball looked outside.
Stayed in the game after this called third strike.
It's just so aggravating when you're a hitter. I mean, that ball even looks closer than it is. That ball was way outside, and you're battling and battling. You got a chance to really do something well for your team. You got work the count to 3-2, and they get called out. I actually think Brian's a bit lucky that he didn't get thrown out. It would have been very tempting for him to do a little bit more histrionics even than he did. When he threw the bat down, I started worrying. Some equipment was going to be thrown around, but good for him for staying in the game. Tough call.
Chris Davis with overall some very good numbers, at least in the power department. 28 home runs, 69 runs batted in. But he has really struggled against left-handed pitching.
That's a mystery to me.
Just 179 really for a batting average, 28 home runs, and only 2 of them against left-handers. That's almost hard to do.
Yeah, and especially for a right-handed hitter, of his power ability.
2-1. And look at these numbers.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's hard to explain.
I will say this: if you're a switch hitter and you've got those splits like that, but he's a right-handed batter
all the time. Yeah.
And now 3-1.
But you know what's interesting about that? We've talked about the switch hitting splits a lot and how you're different hitters, and that is just another kind of substantiation of that. I mean, he's obviously a right-handed against left-handed. He's a different hitter, and that's the way it is with switch hitters as well.
There's a big reason why the A's have struggled against lefties. Now 3-1. And ball 4.
Well, their two most important hitters in the lineup, Yonder Alonso and Chris Davis, have struggled against left-handers. So no wonder why they have a hard time producing runs.
The Twins got Garcia a run, but now he issues a leadoff walk, and that'll bring up Jed Lowry. Here we are in late July, and that means the A's are burning up the phone lines, and one of the players drawing some interest from the A's or from other teams on the A's is Jed Lowry. And now he misses ball 1 to Lowry. While the Twins lost their homestand finale to Detroit and lost all 3 against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium, the A's were in Toronto for a 4-game series and had some late inning collapses, lost all 4. There's a strike, 1-1. While with the Braves, Garcia got 13 ground ball double plays, but surprisingly, and this is a pretty big number, 113 innings pitched, there were 20 stolen base attempts against him, 15 successful. Swing and a miss since 2-2. That's a pretty big number, especially for a left-handed pitcher.
That is a big number, and that reputation precedes him a little bit. I had heard that he was a little vulnerable to the stolen base. Well, I guess you should say a lot vulnerable to the stolen base.
Fouled back. 18 starts and 20 stolen base attempts. Twins as a team in 100 games have only had 70 stolen base attempts. Twins have tried 70 and had 70 tried against them. Another pitch low, and now it's 3-2. 11 pitches for Garcia in a 1-2-3 first. Matt Chapman on deck. And 11 thrown already here in the second. See if Davis takes off. Pretty short lead right now. And back-to-back walks here in the second inning. Garcia's had a couple of starts where he's had some issues. In fact, in 3 straight starts in late April, early May, he had 14 walks in 3 starts.
And we look at all around the strike zone with the pitches there to Lowry, and this is what we've heard is has been the issue for Jaime Garcia. I mean, he has been so good in his career. Last year and a half, not as good. And when he's not as good, it's just like everybody else. It's a lack of command. He just can't pound the strike zone in good spots with his pitches, and that's what we've seen here the first 2 hitters in the second inning.
Matt Chapman, the batter. And there's a first pitch strike. The A's consider Chapman to be their third baseman of the future. Strong arm at third base and a lot of power.
Yeah, they say when he hits them, they stay hit for a while.
To right field, down for a hit, and Kepler fires it in to Mauer, the cutoff man, and they're loaded up with nobody out. And Garcia now has really got his feet to the fire here with a 1-0 lead. The A's fill the bases with no one out. Lavarnway will bat. You can follow Twins Baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat mobile app. You can stay connected to the game's best players all season long with game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcast, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today, your #1 app for live baseball. Lavarnway, a couple of at-bats in one prior game for the A's. Twins playing the infield back, and Garcia gets ahead. Strike one. Two walks and a single. Twins ended up with a walk and 3 singles and got 1 run out of it in the top of this inning. Blocked by Castro.
Do you remember when Jaime Garcia pitched for the Cardinals in the postseason? I do. I remember a couple of games that he pitched, and my impression was he was just a low strike throwing machine. Pretty impressive in the postseason for the Cardinals way back when, and hasn't quite been as consistent.
Fouled away, 1-2. Twins got him for 19-year-old pitching prospect Huascar Inoa. And he's in a situation where he could really use a strikeout.
Or a pop-up.
86 strikeouts in 114 innings so far. Or a ground ball hit at somebody. Twins would take that too. Lavarnway signed a minor league deal in the offseason. We saw him with the Boston Red Sox, also been with the Orioles and the Braves. Just got a piece and fouled it back. Davis started the inning with a walk, and then Lowry walked, and then Chapman hit an opposite field single. Struck him out. Raking ball down and in, 1 down. And that'll bring up left-hand hitting Matt Joyce.
Nice breaking ball here after throwing a lot of fastballs. That had really nice trajectory on it there. That kind of almost to the back foot kind of breaking ball. Lavarnway swung over the top, and that's a big out. Get an out there, give yourself a chance to get out of this with a double play ball. Or a potential strikeout as well of left-hander against left-hander.
Joyce 40 at bats against left-handed pitching, hasn't done much against them. Chopper foul. Joyce with a strikeout about every 4 at bats.
This is a situation here where if a pitcher has good command, you can really punish this left-hander. As a left-handed pitcher, really punish the left-hand hitter. If you can throw the ball where you want to throw it, you really ought to be able to make it tough on Joyce right here.
Double play grounded. Backhanded. Throw to first. Double play. And Garcia gets out of this mess unscathed, getting a strikeout and a double play grounder. It's still 1-0 Twins.
Nice turn right here by Adrianza. Quick exchange, gun it to first.
Sports North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit buyfordnow.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. By Grand Casino, the best stories start here. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Max Kepler in the box. He's taken ball one, now ball two. It'll be Kepler, Sano, and Mauer in the Twins' third. Somehow they were able to preserve their 1-0 lead. Both teams had a scoring threat in the second inning, and the Twins got one, and the A's came up empty-handed. 2-1. Checked his swing. Last time he did that in this game, he got a double. Checked his swing and hit a roller down the third baseline into left field for a 1-out double. 3-1. And ball four. We've been told that Gossett doesn't walk many people, and he's already walked two. Let's get the big story from Audra Martin.
Guys, it was a big day at the plate for Houston's Josh Reddick. Down 5-3 to Detroit. He lives a monster 3-run home run. Can't get much better than that. And you know what they say about good teams. You find a way to have comeback victories. Well, that's what they did today. 6-5 the final score. It's their 29th comeback win of the season for Houston. Guys.
And it has been a really bad week for Bruce Rondon, who gave up that 3-run bomb, asked to get the save. Pitched well against the Twins last weekend, but it has not been good. Sano, the batter, taking strike one. He struck out on a check swing in the first inning. Kepler aboard, nobody out. Twins trying to expand a 1-0 lead. That's a fair ball, speared by Chapman. Out at second. Out at first. What a double play started by Matt Chapman. That looked like a double, and instead it was a double play.
Well, they said this young man can really pick it at third base, and he just started as good a double play as you will ever see. What a beautiful, beautiful play this is. Sano hits a rocket down the third baseline. Chapman dives and backhands the ball. Look how quickly he gets up and fires a bullet to second base, and then Rosales with a really good turn. That is a beautiful double play right there.
2 down, and now Mauer. My goodness, that was a great play. Down and away, ball one.
Here will be a great look at it. Watch the quickness here, the dive. That ball was scalded, and he just turned it into 2 outs as quickly as you can think.
And it took 2 strong throws to get that double play. First from the third baseman, and then secondly from Rosales, the second baseman. 1-1 to Mauer. And now 2-1. Well, Gossett's faced 12 batters. He's only retired 6 of them, but yet is only trailing 1-0. Up the line, foul. 2-2.
Well, you can see why the A's are excited about Chapman at third base. They say he can really play that position, as I said, and he just showed us how and why. They also say that he has great power, going to turn into just a really great power hitter.
Ground ball to Rosales, and now he commits the error. So just as soon as the A's turn a wonderful double play, a routine ground ball is kicked, and the inning continues. Rosario will bat. The 86th error for the Oakland A's this year. Contrast that, the Twins have committed just 52.
Number 20, Eddie Rosario.
Just a misplay there. Joe hit over the top of that ball to give it some pretty good overspin, and looked like Rosales was just a little bit nonchalant about getting over in front of it and reading the hop. The ball jumped up at it a little bit.
70th game for Rosales and his 9th error. Here's Rosario. Line drive single his first time up, and he takes ball one. leading the team in errors for Oakland. We got Chris Davis in left field with 12, which is, excuse me, just one. The Ryan Healy, third baseman, first baseman, has 13 errors. And now pitch up, and it's 2-0 to Rosario. Fouled away.
There's an example of what I really wish Eddie Rosario would not do. I wish he would get to the point where when he's ahead in the count 2-0 like that, really zone in and get a ball that you can really hammer. That's not a bad pitch to fight off when you have 2 strikes on you, but not 2-0. You don't want to give away a strike right there. That's probably either ball 3 or it's just a tough pitch to hit.
Up high, 3-1. So almost think of a 2-0 pitch as being a 3-0 pitch. Just look for a certain pitch in a certain spot.
Absolutely. And I know that it's tough for Eddie because he's an aggressive swinger. I mean, one of the things that makes him good is that he's up there. He knows he can hit. If you throw it in there, I'm gonna attack it. But as you get more matured,
that hit him and skips to the shortstop Semien, who just barely beat Mauer. A walk, an error. Twins lead 1-0. Twins baseball presented by State Farm. Miguel Sano making a bid for an extra base hit, maybe a run batted in, but my goodness, Matt Chapman turned in one of the great plays you'll see a third baseman make. And now Adam Rosales will lead things off in the third against Jaime Garcia, who performed a little magic of his own to get out of that second inning jam. I mentioned the A's are hitting just .215 in July, but they have drawn 95 walks now with Garcia's 2 walks in the second. Both numbers are major league highs or lows, I guess. Here's a bouncer, and Sano takes it into foul territory, and Rosales will have at least 2. All the way across the bullpen mound, and Sano, who had a double taken away by the A's third baseman, can't make the same play, and Rosales gets a leadoff double.
Now batting center fielder, number 11, Rajay Davis.
actually, even though that ball wasn't hit as hard, the hop was a tougher one. It was an in-between hop, and that would have been an even better catch of a ball had he made that catch than Chapman's was. The beautiful thing about Chapman's was how hard the ball was hit, his quick reaction. but the ball was a pretty long hop to him. That hop right there would have been really, really good for Sano to have come up with that in-betweener.
Rajay Davis takes a strike
from his belly.
Davis hit a comebacker to the mound his first time up. Garcia's got to get back to work again here in the third. And now 0-2.
I will say this about Garcia. His fastball has really got some late movement because the A's hitters are hitting over the top of it. Even the balls that have been hit hard, with the exception of Chapman's line drive to right. I mean, he's getting them to hit the ball on the ground.
Swing and a miss, and on 3 pitches, Davis is sent back to the dugout. 1 down. Bad at bat for Davis, as Rosales is still at second now with 1 out. Here is Semien.
Now batting the shortstop, number 10, Marcus Semien.
So he pitched him tough. Fastballs on either side, on either corner, and then a really good curveball. You're right, it was not a good at bat by Davis at all, but pretty well constructed 3 pitches from Garcia.
Semien struck out his first time up. Now he takes inside, ball 1. 101 at bats for Semien, 27 strikeouts. And a belt high strike. Oh, a week or so ago, I guess it was, maybe a week and a half ago, we showed you breaking down the Twins' season in 10-game stretches. Never worse than 4-6, never better than 6-4. And then, wouldn't you know it, as soon as we show that to you, they pull off a 3-7. But the A's have been 1 game worse, 2-8 over their last 10 games. 62 games left for the Twins, counting tonight's game. Twins trying to reemerge as a contender for postseason play. There are no such hopes for the A's, in last place in the American League West, 23.5 games behind Houston. Actually 24 now, with Houston's come from behind win at Comerica Park. 2-2.
Well, starting tonight, the Twins have a chance to run off a 7 out of 10. They've got these 5 games, Oakland and San Diego. They go back home. They've got a chance to put some wins on the board if they play some good baseball. Get right back in it.
Swing and a miss. And Garcia picks up another strikeout in a key spot. Two down.
First baseman.
Another breaking ball for a strikeout, and
Healy.
he's got a good one tonight.
Join Fox Sports North and the Minnesota Lynx for the Run Walk Roar 5K on Saturday, August 12th at Veterans Memorial Park in Richfield. Meet Lynx players, receive a free t-shirt and a lower level ticket to a 2017 regular season home game. Visit foxsportsnorth.com/events for details. 2 down now. Here's Ryan Healy. And he reaches back for a fastball, and Healy takes it for strike 1. In terms of winning percentage, the Twins are smack dab in the middle of the American League now. 7 teams with a better record, 7 teams with a worse record. So it would be a good time for a winning streak of any length at all. Popped up right side. Rumor has it there's plenty of foul territory here, but Mauer has to track that ball back into fair territory. A big pop-up that didn't go into foul territory. And Garcia pitches out of another jam in the third.
I don't think Joe saw this ball well at all, but he stays with it, makes a nice play. Maybe to convince me.
Okay, well, one of our favorite movies was playing in the hotel before we left, The Big Lebowski.
Yes, sir.
And so on that basis, maybe that's in some way an omen for an enjoyable weekend here for the Twins, at least for the announcers. Grossman hits it into the shift with the shortstop Semien pulled over, 1 pitch, 1 out. Now that movie's got to be one of the most quotable movies ever produced, right?
Yes.
And it has caused more than one person to bite their tongue whenever they've been frustrated by somebody named Donnie. Right?
Absolutely right.
1 down, and now Zach Granite. Granite singled into center, and he might have gotten a run batted in, but Rosario was thrown out at home.
You're getting out of your element there, Dick.
Strike 1. Twins had a great threat with the first 4 batters reaching in the 2nd inning, but Rosario got thrown out, and they only got 1 run in. But so far, it's standing up as the only run of the game. Oh, I see. I just caught that now. That's a. We were talking about the movie being quotable. I was trying to figure out why am I out of my element. 2-1 to Granite. And another base hit, and we're starting to see on a regular basis how this young man hit .360 in the International League. You know, wasn't the Pacific Coast League. He was in the International League, and he was leading the league in hitting by what, 40-50 points, and he hit .470 in June.
Well, watch how short and compact his swing is. Very, very simple. The big end of the bat stays above his hands. He doesn't have any loop in the big end as it approaches the flight of the ball. Just very, very solid.
And now the ball rolls away, and Granite has no place to go. Earlier, we saw Gossett try to pick off a runner and one-hop Healy at first. Here, it looked like the ball either hit Granite or bounced away from Healy's glove. And as we've told you many times, base stealing is a big part of Granite's game. If he sticks, and he's made quite a first impression, and if he eventually takes over the leadoff spot, he would be, I guess you'd have to call him a throwback. Now, with guys hitting a leadoff spot who hit 40 home runs.
Modern day Richie Ashburn.
To the right side and through, and he can skip rope 2. Granite rounds second and gets back to the bag. And the Twins with a promising start to this inning again. First and second, 1 down, and now Jason Castro.
Adrianza is much improved at the plate. Gets a fastball that he can handle and rolls it through the right side. Granite with an idea to go first to third.
21, Jason
And it's
Castro.
a pretty good play for right fielder throwing behind the runner like that. You don't see it a lot, but oftentimes you can really catch guys taking too big a turn.
You know where a lot of times runners got caught with that was at the Metrodome, because right about where Granite slammed on the brakes, it went from the cutout to the artificial turf. And I can vividly remember runners trying to reverse field, spinning out and falling flat on their face and being tagged out. Here's Castro. Swing and a miss. Castro made a bid for an extra base hit that could have broken the game open a bit, but he hit it right down the line, and Chris Davis was able to snag it.
I dropped a Richie Ashburn on you there,
I know.
a little bit ago. For those of you that aren't old-time baseball aficionados like I am, Richie Ashburn was a terrific center fielder for the Whiz Kids and the Phillies in the 50s. They hit 300 every year, would never hit a home run.
And you completely ignored the fact that the game we're watching is being played on Rickey Henderson Field. I thought that would have been your reference.
Well, no, Zach Granite, I don't think is ever going to make anybody forget about Rickey Henderson. That man right there, one of the best ever. Obviously, a Hall of Famer, one of the best leadoff guys ever. This young man, Zach Granite, as you say, Dick, he has impressed everybody with the way he goes about it.
So the premise is that Granite is among position players what Barrios was as a pitcher earlier this year. As an organization, you know, you want players at AAA to force their way to the big league roster. Barrios did it dominating AAA pitching. And if you can hit 360 at any level, you don't belong at that level anymore.
Right. And it's not even fair to say it's only half a season down there. You hit 360 and hit 470 for a month.
That's down the line and down for a hit. Granite will score. Adrianza to third, Granite to second, and the Twins have a 2-0 lead. Second time in as many at bats that Castro has hit a line drive down the left field line.
And the second time in as many at bats, he has a really, really good at bat. Castro has shown the ability to do this, take pitches the other way. He does it especially well against left-handers, but here doesn't try to pull it, goes down after it. 92 miles an hour right at the knees on the corner. The pitch Ted Williams said he would hit 220 on or 230 if he had to hit it all the time. But Castro goes down and gets it, gets a big RBI, puts runners on second and third.
Now batting, number 2.
So 2 in now in the ball game. 2 men in scoring position for Brian Dozier.
And if the Twins are going to run off some 7 out of 10 streaks, as you were talking about, Dick, I really think this guy right here, Brian Dozier, is going to be a key part of that. He has not gone on a tear yet. He's not had one really Brian Dozier type streak yet this year, and I think the Twins really need him to do that.
Pitch is up, ball 1, infield drawn in and playing 2 aside in the infield. Earlier they've been shifting Brian. The 2 infielders on the left side, 2 on the right side. Twins already have 7 hits. Gossett's walked a couple. No activity in the Oakland pen. Dozier, sharp ground ball into center field. Adrianza scores. Castro will hold at third, and Dozier has the ability to play it halfway to second base. And finally Healy comes back to first base. So another hit for the Twins, another run. It's 3-0.
Nice at bat there by Brian, and really fortuitous that the infield was playing in. This plays right into Brian's game. When they don't shift him and he has the ability to hit, and he has the opportunity to hit a ball sharply through the infield, drawn in infield, he does just that.
See, Castro had to respect the fact that Semyon was close to that ball. He didn't want to get trapped off of second base. Now here's Kepler with a double and a walk. Outside, ball 1. Now there's activity in the Oakland bullpen.
And here's the other guy besides Brian Dozier and of course Miguel Sano. And I think Max Kepler down the stretch here is going to be very important for him to get hot like he can get hot and be one of those guys that can carry the club. Somebody else besides Sano.
Oh, hook foul. Well, and I'll add one more to your list, and that's the guy in Rochester right now. If Buxton can come back. He was, of course, showing some signs of progress offensively, getting on base, drawing walks, and creating all sorts of panic on the bases when he got there. And if he can come back, if he's healthy and be productive, this lineup is going to look a lot better.
Well, I've said for a long time about Byron Buxton that if he becomes the offensive player that the Twins think he's going to one day be, everything about this lineup changes. I would just tell you that he maybe will have a more impact than Miguel Sano, but with an offensive Sano and offensive Buxton, this whole lineup dynamic changes drastically. So yes, clearly Byron Buxton being a good offensive player, especially these last 2 months, would be terrific. But that guy right there, Brian Dozier, has the ability to carry the ball club for 2 weeks at a time. Love to see him get hot again.
Kepler with a big swing. He was right on that fastball and fouled it straight back.
And Max Kepler has the ability to become the kind of hitter that can carry a team. I think back to 1987, and Puck could carry the team and did most of the season. Kent Herbeck could carry the team for a streak. Gary Gaetti could. And there were 3 guys on that team that could just pick the club up and put them on their shoulders. And you need that kind of diversity in a lineup if you're going to get it to the postseason.
Because however good a hitter is, he's going to have some 0 for 4s, right. And then somebody else needs to step up.
Somebody else good, and he's going to have some time when he doesn't drive in every run he looks at. Somebody else is going to have to do that.
Another throw to first. The Twins adding 2 here in the 4th. There's one more out there at third base to be had with only 1 out in the inning. The Twins situationally have not done very well since the All-Star break. See if Kepler can get the job done here. That kicks away
get the job
and
done.
Goes over the backstop. And a run comes in. Castro trotting in from third, and it's 4-0. I'm going to put in my scorebook VWP, a very wild pitch. Off the arm of the catcher and then over the tall screen that makes up the backstop here.
Catcher had no chance on that one. About a 56-footer that he had to try to backhand.
Swing and a miss. Kepler strikes out, 2 down.
Now batting, number 22, Miguel.
Moving fastball, yeah. Moving fastball on the outside corner. Max just couldn't make contact with it.
Here is Sano. Toward the hole, backhanded by Semien. High throw, Sano safe. Here comes the runner, and he is out. Safe. The ball dropped by the catcher Lavarnway. Dozier rounded third after the high throw was sent home. He would have been out, but Lavarnway couldn't handle the throw. And the Twins get a 4th run here in the 4th inning. Should be another Oakland error on Semien. His high throw pulled Healy off the bag.
Well, it makes a good play to start with, and then just airmails it over there. Bryant continues to run right around third and should be out. But he kind of knocked the ball out of Lavarnway's glove, I think, as he slides in head first. He kind of, he never had it.
No.
Let's see it from this angle. I thought Brian maybe got it, but nope, he never did have it. Tried to tag him too soon.
Now another wild pitch. And Sano goes to second. Lavarnway was trying to find the baseball, and it looked like Did they still make the game twister?
Oh my.
Gossett's been all over the place. He's not had an effective inning. His first inning, the hit he gave up was a check swing double, and then right away in the second, the Twins got one. Probably should have had more. They've added 4 more runs here. Frankie Montas is warming up in the Oakland bullpen.
I guess now they've given Sano a single.
Oh no.
On that. Yep.
Well, you could have made the point that there should have been not just 1 but 2 errors on that play.
Yes.
Somebody didn't catch the throw. Lavarnway, the catcher, I think
well,
the throw got there.
He did get the error. There was a single and an E2.
Well, now they did add, okay, I was looking at the scoreboard. They just added the second error up there.
Single and error catcher. I think it should have been E6, E2 probably. But
yes.
Maybe they're a little defensive here in the scoreboard booth about all the errers that the club is making.
Sorry to be cynical, but if they've got 85 errors with that kind of official scoring, how many do they really have? 2-1.
You've never been sorry being cynical before. Never heard you apologize for that.
And now Mauer takes a walk, and the A's are going to have to make a move. Rosario
this is ugly. This is too bad. This is ugly. The Twins have done a nice job at the plate, but this has been ugly A's baseball right here.
Well, the Twins have collected 8 hits. There have been 3 walks, a couple of wild pitches, a couple of errors.
Your attention,
It's
please.
5-0, and the Twins will get into the Oakland bullpen.
For the Athletics, number 47, Frankie.
It's 3 walks, couple of wild pitches. His infield defense betrayed him. And now Frankie Montas comes in for the A's.
Look at Montas's numbers here.
Now batting, number 20, Eddie.
Strikeout pitcher, 32 and 29 2/3 innings.
Eddie Rosario will bat. He has 1 of the Twins' hits tonight. And the average at .294. One and 0. Ground ball to short. And the A's finally get the 3rd out. 9 men bat, 4 of them score. And Jaime Garcia now has a 5-0 lead.
Adrianza with a couple of hits. He drives in a run early and is key in the big fourth inning. Meanwhile, Jaime Garcia has pitched very, very well in his Twins debut. Castro and Dozier also with RBIs in that 4-run fourth inning, and the Twins are up 5-0.
Garcia had a 1-2-3 first, but he's pitched his best in the second and third innings. Just 11 pitches, and the A's went down 1-2-3 in the first. But they had the bases loaded, nobody out in the second, and he got out of that without allowing a run. Then a leadoff double in the third, and he got out of that without allowing a run. 1-0 to Chris Davis. And Davis, who drew a leadoff walk in the second, now has a 2-0 count.
Do you know that term pound for pound? It doesn't. I mean, I have no idea what Chris Davis weighs, but power per stature. Yep. I think this guy's got to have the most power per stature of anybody I've seen in a long time. This
5'11", 192 pounds.
Yeah, and he can some kind of hit the ball a long way.
Among active players, home run per at bat. State Farm powerful combination. And a strike call, now 3-1.
There's a guy that maybe I'll take it back. He would give Chris Davis a run for his money in power per stature right there. He could jolt you out of the leadoff spot, that's for sure. Nice pitch there, 3-1 on the corner, moving.
Henderson's been in the Hall of Fame, and I'm personally grateful that Tim Raines is going in this weekend, because Tim Raines was to the National League what Rickey Henderson was to the American League.
Terrific player.
3-2. And a base hit to right, and that may shoot the gap. Cut off by Granite, and he will fire it back to Dozier. A lead-off double in the fourth. And Garcia back to the stretch with a runner in scoring position to start the inning.
Well, pretty good hitting by a guy that's hitting about $180 against left-handed pitchers. A fastball on the outside corner, but it was up, and he was able to reach out and with that strength drive the ball into a spot where nobody was.
Twins were playing him to pull the ball in the infield.
Yep.
Now Jed Lowry, who also walked in the second inning. Outside, ball one.
You mentioned earlier there are other teams with interest in Jed Lowry here right before the trade deadline. It's not hard to figure that out. This guy's he's a professional player. He played several spots in the infield, tough out at the plate, switch hitter.
Garcia falls behind him to him. Came back from 3-0 to fill the count to Davis, but then gave up the double. Now 2-0 to Lowry.
Yeah, the problem with throwing a lot of pitches and falling behind guys is you just, as a hitter, you get more and more comfortable the more pitches that you see, and you get used to the speed and the movement of the fastball, and you get behind. It's tough to make enough really great pitches to come back.
Lowry might have swung at ball 3. He lifts it foul over the Twins bullpen. 2-1. 53 pitches, 33 strikes for Garcia. Indians finished off a 9-3 win over the Chicago White Sox. And so Cleveland's now won 8 in a row. The Royals have won 9 in a row. Two and 1 to Lowry. Took a strike, 2-2.
And you can just tell that the ball is moving a lot. Garcia's fastball has that late movement. Guys look uncomfortable taking it. Their ball looked like it was right down the middle. And Lowry has looked uncomfortable on on fastball strikes, as have a lot of the hitters. Right there.
Ooh, close, but it's 3-2. Garcia looks in toward home plate umpire Mark Ripperger. See where it was. Inside.
Yeah, it was inside, but close enough that it looked like it fooled Lowry. He took that pitch like it was way inside, and it wasn't.
Another full count. And ball 4. First and second. Nobody out. This is not. I mean, at some point, Garcia would like to have an easy inning. He's had to pitch, with the lead on the line in the second and third inning.
Third baseman, number 26.
A 5-0 lead. The first 2 men reach in the fourth. TC's Summer Bash is August 6th when the Twins take on the Rangers. Come celebrate with TC and join in on the summer fun. Pre-game activities include TC's annual mascot softball game, which includes some of his friends from around the league, as well as the Kids Fun Zone outside of Gate 29, featuring inflatable and interactive elements for kids. First 10,000 fans receive a TC bobblehead courtesy of U.S. Bank. Get your tickets at twinsbaseball.com/TCBank. Chapman single to right here in the fourth inning. He takes strike 1. Garcia was able to get an inning-ending double play in the second inning. Strike 2. I'm going to let you watch Garcia for a while, and then I'm going to ask you in an inning or so how you would compare him to Hector Santiago. Built about the same physique, with the same physique, and so I'm preparing you. I'm going to ask you to compare the injured Santiago to what we've seen so far from Garcia. 1-2 to Chapman. Santiago came out to the West Coast, Los Angeles. He had a charity function he was involved with. And after that, I believe it was yesterday, was going to rejoin the team, the Rochester team in Toledo. Scheduled to make 2 more starts. Now 2-2. 60 pitches, 36 strikes, 60% strike percentage.
Yeah, he'd like it to be 7 or 8% more than that, and that 7 or 8% is translated into walks that haven't hurt him, but not what he wants. Haven't hurt him yet, but not what he wants. And especially this inning, get staked to a 5-run lead here. Twins tack on 4 runs to the in the fourth inning. A veteran pitcher like this, you would expect to come out pounding the strike zone, but again, his fastball moves an awful lot, and he does it when he's not as good. He has trouble getting that moving fastball in the strike zone. That's
strike 3. Called third strike, 1 away.
And I really don't understand what it is that the Oakland A's are seeing or not seeing. Evidently, his fastball is sneaky as can be. So we look at it again.
Now batting the catcher, number 30.
I mean, that ball's right there, and guys are taking pitches like they're not seeing it well. I think it's late movement. That's all I can imagine.
Lavarnway struck out his first time up. Lavarnway getting a chance in part because the A's traded Stephen Vogt. Swing and a foul. No, that's not a foul ball. Castro just didn't catch it.
Well, there you go. I mean, we're speculating and we're seeing, and in some cases speculating about late movement. And when a pitcher throws a 91-mile-an-hour fastball and a catcher of Castro's ability can't catch it, it's moving.
It's a pass ball. We charge to Castro. Now second and third, and a hit to the outfield to get the A's right back in the game. One strike to the Oakland catcher. Fair ball down the line, and it'll score 2. Lavarnway going to second with a double. And the A's are back in the game at 5-2.
Breaking ball this time, and it settles kind of right in the middle of the plate. Lavarnway, pretty good swing at it. Just gets it just inside the line.
And now Matt Joyce bounced into a double play at a 2-hopper to Dozier to get the Twins off the field in the second.
So here's where Garcia has to come back, punish this left-hander, and get the weaker hitting Rosales out, get off the field here. Make good pitches to this left-hander.
Right field. And Kepler with the catch, 2 down. Not only an out, but a quick one.
Got away with one a little bit there. Joyce lining it into right field.
Now batting second baseman, number 16, Adam Rosales.
Adam Rosales doubled his first time up. Taken low, ball 1. And we mentioned that in July the A's haven't hit much, but no team in baseball has taken more walks. 3 more walks taken tonight to bring their total for the month up to 96.
Looking at the Twins outfield, especially in the corners with Rosario and Kepler playing pretty shallow. That's the new theory here with the Twins. Good changeup. That's the first changeup that I can remember seeing from Garcia. But look at it again. Rosario in left, Kepler in right. Playing shallow enough with their arms and the way they charge the ball. They'll have a chance if the ball's hit out there. Throw a runner out of the plate.
1-1. Popped up. And Castro comes back. And it's a couple rows back. Now 1-2. One and 2 to the number 9 batter. 6th man to bat here in the Oakland 4th. Castro smothers it. To the right field corner. Kepler drifts over to put it away and end the inning. But the A's get back in the game, scoring a couple, and it's 5-2. Mountain Dew fans of the game enjoying Twins baseball out here. Second time the Twins have played out here in the Bay Area. Of course, they played the Giants. It took 2 out of 3 against San Francisco earlier this year. Robbie Grossman will lead off the 5th, then Zach Granite and Adrianza. Lavarnway's 2-run double getting the A's back in the game. Grossman takes up and away ball 1. Grossman hit a ball hard to start the 4th inning, but it was right at the shortstop Semien, swung over playing on the right side of the infield, and he's got the same shift facing him here in the 5th. He drives it foul. It's interesting in working with Torrey Hunter a few weeks ago, and he said, you know, if teams put a shift on him, he would have taken it as an insult. I'm betting you feel the same way about it.
Yeah, that's a little older school and feeling about it. I heard Torrey say that. I was watching when Torrey was in the booth with you, and I was sitting there nodding and smiling in agreement. And it's not just, I mean, the insult is not.
There you go.
Yeah, that's beautiful. But see, here's the other thing. It will come back to what Torrey was saying, because I absolutely understand what he was saying and agree with him. But now, I understand that Robbie Grossman is going to hit the ball to the right side on the ground against Gossett. But Montas throwing 97 miles an hour now, and the ball's moving. Look at the ball, moving away from him. And I just don't think that there are enough at bats that Robbie's had against Montas to justify, you know, just because he pulls other people, that doesn't mean he's necessarily going to pull a guy throwing 97 with movement away from him. But anyway, back to Torrey. The insult is not that they would shift you; it's that evidently they absolutely know that you have no ability to hit or interest in hit the other way, and that's what I got a big kick out of.
Granite tries to bunt, foul, 1 strike.
I got a big kick out of Torrey, saying if they're going to do that to me, I'm going to roll the ball over there. I'm not going to just let them be like when we used to play softball or tennis ball at the playground in the summertime. We didn't have enough guys to have right field open, right? So right field's closed. You're out if you hit it over there. Well, that's what it looks. It's not the case up here. There's lots of hits over there. I mean, lots of really easy hits, and I couldn't agree with Torrey more about that. Well, you could. Torrey was right. You could square around and just push the ball, bunt with a second base position, get a double. And I don't know why you wouldn't try to do that.
1 strike to Granite. Has 2 singles already in the ball game. And the average up to 286. And strike 2.
It does depend on the situation, of course, but Torrey was reacting to early in an inning where there was, you know, nobody out or 1 out and nobody on. I mean, it's different if you got 2 guys on and you're a home run hitter. I mean, you may not want to give up your strong suit, but
on the outside corner, and Montas pitched Granite very well there, getting a strikeout with 1 down. Now Adrianza will hit.
Now batting, number 16, Adrianza.
Well, all 3, 96 or 97 with movement. Dispatched Granite pretty quickly, and I'm kind of surprised that he was as fooled by the second 2 pitches. I understand never seeing a guy before taking the first pitch.
Adrianza's 2 for 2, and his batting average back up near 300 at 296. Adrianza's acquisition by the Twins didn't make any headlines in the winter, but boy, has he been a godsend. He's played awfully well. He's hit much better than expected. And particularly here in the month of July, when Jorge Polanco has really struggled at the plate, this guy has stepped in, coming off the disabled list, and given the Twins some really good at bats. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. And the Twins have tried everything with Polanco. They just can't get him to break out of the slump. They've tried playing him. They've tried not playing him.
I think it's just one of those things. He's a young player that has never really been in a slump at any level that he's played, and it's something new for him, and it's mostly at that point in time it becomes a psychological thing for most young hitters, just trying so hard and worrying so much about not playing. It's no fun to be a young player thinking if I don't produce I'm going to get sent back down. I want to stay in the big leagues. I don't want to get sent back down to AAA. You put a lot of pressure on yourself.
In his last 5 years professionally, the lowest Polanco had ever hit was .276 last year in Rochester. So his average is down in the 2 teens, and you're right, it's uncharted territory. Somebody who's always been able to hit is having a tough time with that right now.
And see, the other thing is that he was always going to be the shortstop because of the combination of offense and defense that he had. He's not, at this point in time, he's not Adrianza's equal as a defensive player at shortstop. Adrianza is a pretty polished shortstop.
All back and a good cut.
Polanco was playing well enough for what they expected him to hit, and that combination was going to be okay. But when Polanco started slumping a bit, they would play Adrianza just from a defensive standpoint, and all of a sudden, to your point, Adrianza started to hit, and I've watched him work with James Rouson, and what they're doing has made him much more effective offensively.
Grossman checked again at first. In Wednesday's game at Dodger Stadium, the Twins, same part of the ball game, jumped out to a 5-0 lead, but then they did absolutely nothing after that. And now a leadoff single, 1 out, and the Twins, not that they needed to learn a lesson, but there's a ball taken down and in for ball 4. Grossman was off with the pitch, and now he's heading back to second base, and the ball's still in play. Now they're calling time. Second base umpire's calling time, which means the overthrow. I'm sorry. And I saw 103 losses last year, but what we've seen here tonight from Oakland is rather clownish.
Now batting.
This has not been the poster example of Major League Baseball
now
so far.
I'm not sure home plate umpire Mark Ripperger actually called time to put a new ball in play. That's why the second base umpire Phil Cuzzy called time. But if not for the ball exchange, Grossman could have been trapped. He thought that it was a foul ball, I guess. On 3-2, he was heading back to first.
I don't know what he was thinking about. Adrianza didn't come close to swinging at the ball.
Well, here's Castro, first and second, 1 down. Up and away, ball 1. Montas, to his credit, working quickly here. Castro drove in a run with a double the last time up. Down the left field line again, and fair into the corner again. Grossman will score. Adrianza held at third 3 times tonight. Castro has gone right over the third base bag.
Well, another really good at bat by Jason Castro. This time hitting the ball to left field because it's 97 miles an hour, and just trying to get the big end of the bat on as best he can.
Number 2, Brian Dozier.
But 3 times in a row now, doing a nice job of letting the ball come to him, letting the ball travel just a little bit, and getting the ball 3 times in the same spot, 2 for RBIs.
And now Dozier with the infield in again, but this time the pole shift in the 4th inning at bat that Brian had. They had 2 infielders on either side with the infield drawn in. Now they've got 3 in on the left side and only 1 man playing short on the right side.
And this could bite him here.
There's a strike. 0-2.
I'm not saying that they ought not do this because Brian's a pull hitter, and the chances are, as I said before, you can't play everywhere. But again, and especially now with 2 strikes, with the guy throwing 97, if he gets a 96 or 97 mile an hour fastball on the outside part of the plate, Brian could hit the ball right at where the second base position normally plays.
Check this swing. What's different? I mean, the exact same situation. Castro at second, Adrianza at third. 1 out. The only thing that's different is the pitcher, and this guy throws harder than the other guy.
He throws harder. I don't know. I don't know, but they've moved back a little bit now. Second baseman back on more up the middle.
Dozier rolls it up the line, and a foul ball is called. Home plate umpire Mark Ripperger's call there, and it looked from here as if Chapman picked it up right over the baseline. Can't challenge it, but let's take a look at where Chapman picked up the ball.
Yeah, I thought it went. His glove was just foul. Wow, I've got great eyes, don't I? That ball was really close, and it took a while. I was gonna say it took a long time for Ripperger to call it, but that's because it took a long time to finally get foul.
1-2 to Dozier. In the dirt, 2-2.
Pretty good take by Brian right there. A lot of times when a guy's throwing 96, 97 miles an hour, you get in a hurry to get the bat head out to catch up with that fastball, and a good slider like that, you can jump out there and swing and miss that pitch.
Foul back. Dozier drove in a run with a single through a drawn-in infield in the 4th.
Big run here at third base. Like to get both of them, obviously, but jump right back, get those 2 runs back right away, make it be a 5-run lead again here in the 5th inning. This is a big at bat.
On the outside corner. Second time that Dozier's been called out by Ripperger. This one looked like it was closer to the strike zone than the first time. Dozier has some words with Ripperger, but manages to stay in the game.
Now batting, number 26, Max.
Well, that was outside too.
Yep. Yeah, he's expanded the strike zone on Brian. Brian's got to be really, really frustrated. That's, and a lot of people will say, well, that ball's too close to take, and I would agree, except that it's 99 miles an hour on the outside outside the plate. That's just a tough pitch to say. I'm gonna waste that one. I'm gonna foul that one off just because you just don't have time when it's 99 miles an hour. Your body reacts to whether it's a ball or a strike, and that was a ball.
First pitch to Kepler outside. They have him defended with a pull shift in the infield. Pitch is up.
Now this is a situation right here where a guy's throwing 97 miles an hour, and to pull the ball, you've got to be really quick. This is a situation where they're giving him that much room to left field. If you're Smalley or Torrey Hunter, I think you look for the ball out over the plate and just drive it through that hole. There's 2 runners out there. You don't have to hit a home run. You don't have to pull the ball down the right field line. This guy's throwing 97, 98 miles an hour. Get the ball out over the plate and line it that way.
3-0 to Kepler, first base open, and Sano on deck. Strike on the outside corner.
That ball his fastball has a tendency to move away from left-hand hitters anyway. And I might not have done this when I was Max Kepler's age, but later on in my career, this would have been a look for the ball out over the plate and not have to work so hard to pull the ball. Just Just hit it to left center.
Checked his swing. And it's ball 4. First base is filled. And all the bases are full for Miguel Sano. Two walks in the inning, 2 hits. As if there wasn't enough turnover on the roster here, the A's fired highly respected pitching coach Curt Young. You hit against Curt Young. He's a pretty good left-handed pitcher in his day. He's been here for many years. And the new pitching coach is Scott Emerson.
Well, they're talking about how they're going to pitch Sano here, and I'm very interested in what that conversation is about and how they're going to approach him.
Number 22.
So I guarantee you Sano's going to be geared up for 97 mile-an-hour fastball. The question is, can he throw breaking balls close enough to get him out?
Off-speed pitch, swing and a miss.
No, that so far, yes. Good slider right there.
I mention it on a daily or nightly basis. And I've already mentioned it once before. The Twins do not have a grand slam yet this year. Inside, up around the hands. Of course, Sano got smoked on the left wrist in Los Angeles. Just the 5th inning, so it wouldn't be a knockout punch, but Sano's got a big chance here to break the game open. And he swung through 98, and it's 1-2.
The pitch right there is going to be difficult for Sano, I think, during the course of his career. 98 miles an hour above the belt high or above. That's difficult for a lot of guys.
And then the slider.
Yeah, that was really well pitched right there.
Twins get 1 but leave 3. They've left 9 men on, but they have scored 6 times and lead by 4. You're watching Twins baseball presented by State Farm.
At the bottom of the 5th, and Twins fans, don't forget at Twins home games, bring your Circle Me signs. And if you get circled, you may find yourself in the Minnesota Lottery winner's circle where you could win $100 worth of scratch-off lottery tickets courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.
Roy Smalley in the broadcast booth with Bert Blyleven in Cooperstown for the induction of the Hall of Fame class of 2017. That'll be Sunday, tomorrow. Longtime Oakland broadcaster Bill King will be inducted into the broadcasters wing of the Hall of Fame. Here's a chopper to second, and Jaime Garcia has retired to the leadoff man. Rajai Davis gone on one pitch. One away. Bill King winning the award posthumously that Herb Carneal won, which is symbolic of baseball broadcast excellence.
Marcus Semien.
Marcus Semien, the batter, has struck out twice against Jaime Garcia. All right, I've waited long enough. So we've seen Garcia, 4+ innings here. How would you contrast him to Hector Santiago, who came to the Twins in a trade just about a year ago?
Well, I think that's interesting that you would bring that up, because they are very similar looking, aren't they? Left-handed pitchers, throw a lot of fastballs, and at least tonight, Garcia has not been just spot on with that fastball all the time. The difference, I think, is as similar as they look, and as wild as Garcia's.
For the gap in right center, Granite racing over, won't get there. It'll one-hop the wall, and Semien has a one-out double.
An example there of Semien's ability as a hitter. As mentioned before, I really am expecting that young man to be a good hitting shortstop. Here he gets a fastball away. And
2-0 count. He fell behind. Didn't walk him, but he paid a different price.
Fell behind, and Semien did a good job going with that pitch, hitting a long way to right center. But
5
anyway,
Oakland hits, 4 doubles.
Back to your question. The difference is fastball movement, I think, on Garcia. I don't see the kind of movement, especially late movement, that Garcia has on his fastball with Hector Santiago's fastball.
Here is Healy. Ground ball and a foul pop. Sharply hit to left, a base hit. Semien will be held at third, and the A's are coming back with another scoring chance. Castro with a block of a one-hopper. First and third, one down. Garcia's having a hard time getting on track. He got Davis on the first pitch of the 5th inning, but then right back into the stretch position.
That was a ball that stayed about belt high. Healy, as we mentioned, a 360-something hitter against left-handers, and he's not going to miss that pitch too often against a left-handed pitcher.
First and third, one down, and now slugger Chris Davis, who's walked and doubled and scored. Strike on the outside corner. See, he's faced 21 batters. He's only retired 12 of them. Oh, and 2. Did he go? No, on a very close check swing. Tom Hallion, first base umpire, said he didn't go, but it looked close. It
was close, and that young man right there is very strong. You watch him start and watch the strength. The bat head in slow motion went across, but I guarantee you from Tom Hallion's standpoint that it looked like he held up.
Now to left center, it'll be down for a hit. And Rosario will field and flip it back towards second. So 3 straight hits, and the A's now trail by 3, and will bring the tying run to the plate right off the end of the bat. And then the pitch after appeared that Davis failed to check his swing.
But watch where this breaking ball is. We have Chris Davis really kind of bailing, going toward left field, but the ball stays up. Good plate coverage, and you're right, he hit it off the end of the bat only because the ball was up high enough for him to be able to reach it.
Here's Lowry. He's walked twice. Twins get their bullpen going with Garcia cruising through the first on just 11 pitches, but having a great deal of difficulty ever since. Down and in, ball one. Now 2-0. Garcia's walked 3, given up 7 hits. '81 pitches, 50 strikes. Ground ball to third. Sano picks it up, fires to Dozier, relay to first, double play. Around the horn, the second ground ball double play that Garcia has benefited from. The A's get one. It's 6-3.
Nice play by the big man right here. Nice turn by Brian, pitcher's best friend.
On deck, talking to hitting coach James Rowson earlier about Rosario's impressive month, and he says he gives all of the credit to assistant hitting coach Rudy Hernandez, saying that those two have a really unique relationship going. He said Eddie is strictly his guy. He's left them alone, let the two of them have this relationship and been able to develop. Rudy says it's all because Eddie is a creature of habit and thrives on routine. So every day it's the same thing. Working on the tee, then into the cage. And recently the focus has been on left-handed breaking balls. Eddie was stepping too close, across the plate, and it was throwing his ability off to see those breaking balls. A little bit of an adjustment, working on it day after day, and he said it's made all the difference in the world. Guys?
The results have been very good. Thank you, Audra. Eddie Rosario seems, the graph line is pointing toward a 300 season for him. He's had a 5-hit game. He's had a 3-home run game, but he now here after the All-Star break seems to be getting a hit or two every game.
And it's interesting to hear what Audra talked with Rudy about. One of the keys and interesting things to Rosario's swing, and we'll see it when he gets up there, but he actually steps, if not perfectly square, open. And not in toward the plate most of the time. And if he would start stepping in toward the plate, that's going to mess his swing up. That's just not him.
And yet, opening up a little bit, he has more power to the opposite field than any left-handed batter we've seen since Joe Mauer's MVP season.
I did a little demonstration back a month or so ago during our pregame show about how he does that, how he gets that power. Most guys, when they step a little bit open, their toe opens, their knee opens, their front hip opens, and that drags the bat, and they're toast from there. But Eddie steps a little bit open but keeps his front side square so that it clears his hips. At the same time, it still allows him to use leg drive and good hands into the ball. It doesn't. So if you can do it that way, if you can step square to slightly open in terms of where your foot lands, but keep your front side square to the line of flight of the ball, that actually is really beneficial. And what gets Eddie in trouble, as Joe Mauer draws a walk, what gets Eddie in trouble is when he steps away and opens his front side, or when he steps now, as Audrey was just reported, sometimes he gets stepping into the plate. For a guy that steps open naturally, for him to start stepping into the plate, that would throw everything off. That would really, I can see where that would be kind of a mess.
Well, let's watch the man hit here. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Single to left in the second. Since then, a couple of ground balls to short. Mauer's drawn a walk, and it looks like the Twins would be well advised to score some more runs here. Oakland doesn't appear to be in any more position to lay down than the Dodgers were. And Rosario bunted it into the dirt. Foul ball, 1 strike. You know, you do a good job of that. I mean, I don't know anything about hitting, but the way you explained it there, it kind of makes sense to me, and I'm sure our viewers feel the same way. It's nice having someone up here who technically knows, you know, about hitting. Well, Ron Coomer did a nice job with that when he was doing some TV work on Twins TV.
Well, you see, to watch his front leg, he actually, his stance is closed, but his leg, he strides open a little bit. So we saw it right there. His front foot is a little bit closer to the plate than his back foot when he's in his stance. But as he takes his stride, it comes back more as a square. See, he'll step away, but see, this front foot stays close, stays square. Step away, but stay square. That pitch right there will give anybody trouble. That ball at 98 miles an hour up and in. But for the most part, Eddie's hands can work really, really well because he's able to clear his hips but still use good leverage.
Robbie Grossman will hit. First, a reminder that Target Field is a great place to spend time with the people who are important to you. Groups of 25 or more are eligible for discounts on tickets, and per ticket fees are eliminated. Arrange your group of 25 plus today by visiting twinsbaseball.com/groups and ask about a Twins Target Field group outing. Down near the bullpen, no play for anyone. 1 strike to Grossman. Grossman with a walk and a run scored in the second, and a single and a run scored in the 5th.
As we watch foul balls drop inside the park because of all this room and in Oakland, it reminds me of how great the former third baseman Carney Lansford was chasing foul balls down.
Well, I was going to bring his name up in another context. Carney Lansford won a batting championship, but he won it with the Boston Red Sox. And he contended for them here, but there's a reason. The Oakland A's have never had a batting champion, ever. And they've had some great hitters here, Lansford included, Rickey Henderson, up and away. And the foul territory that we've sarcastically joked about, I guess, here, but that's a big part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's, potentially, I don't know, if you play here 81 games, I mean, there's potentially
7 outs.
Yeah, 10. I was going to say 10. Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
Per batter. Up and away. And now 3-1 to Grossman. Zach Granite on deck.
On the flip side, I have these vivid images of Carney Lansford chasing down foul balls and going a long ways and making sliding, diving, over shoulder catches against us.
And Grossman takes another walk. He's been on base 3 times. And the Twins might not be done scoring. First and second, 1 down, and now Granite Granite with a pair of singles, and then he struck out on 3 pitches in the 5th.
Number 8, Zach Granite.
Now he's seen him though. He's seen that fastball. I don't think Montas throws the ball too hard for him, and he just needed to see 98 with some movement. And this will be a good test for him.
Strikes 2 and 3 in that 5th inning at bat were upper 90s down and away on the corner.
Yep.
Maybe the 2 best fastballs that Montas has thrown. Simon Castro getting loose in the A's bullpen. The A's bullpen, of course, undergoing a makeover this month with Ryan Madson and Sean Doolittle being dealt to Washington. Hard ground ball. And double play. Wasn't the prettiest thing, but Granite bounces into an around the horn double play, and the top of the 6th ends for the Twins the way the bottom of the 5th ended for the A's. The #1 selling brand in the Twin Cities. And by State Farm, here to help life go right with the home and auto protection you deserve. 6-3, Twins in front. Jaime Garcia starting the bottom of the 6th inning, facing Chapman, Lavarnway, and Joyce. Hoping for an easier time of it. Fly ball center field. Granite started in, now going back and making the catch on the warning track. Another first pitch out here in the 6th inning. Garcia got that much done in the 5th, and then the A's strung together 3 hits to get a win. First of 3 here in Oakland, and the Twins have another off day on Monday.
Now batting the catcher.
They play a couple of games against the Padres. Then they have a homestand starting with 4 games against the Texas Rangers. Now, we've been mentioning for the last several weeks that there's a chance some history could be made at Target Field with Adrian Beltre getting close to the 3,000 hit mark. And I think weeks ago I said if he got 1 hit a game, he'd get that at Target Field. The problem is, not a problem, but Beltre's getting 2 hits a game, and he got 2 more hits tonight. He now has 2,998 hits. And selfishly, I think all of us would like to see it happen at Target Field, but there's a better chance it's going to happen at home. And in a larger sense, it should happen at home. It would be a great moment for Beltre under any circumstances in any location. And did you happen to see what Beltre did with the on-deck circle on Wednesday?
Oh, I thought about you. This whole that whole deal. I thought about you and how you feel about putting a screen up there for on-deck hitters. And the whole thing was absurd. I mean,
well, 2 down now, and Joyce will hit. For those of you who didn't see it, Jerry Davis, veteran umpire,
Now
didn't
batting
like
right fielder,
where the on-deck hitter
23,
Adrian Beltre was behind home plate. And he was roughly where Joyce was right now, almost directly behind home plate. And you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to be where the on-deck circles are. No one will stand on the on-deck circle because more often than not now, they're rubberized discs that aren't meant to be stood on. Now there you can see Rosales on the other side. That's fine. No umpire would quarrel with that.
Well, but he's standing on the dirt because he's getting ready to hit, and you know, he's practicing taking strides and swinging a little bit. And to your point, you're not going to stand on a slippery surface. You're going to stand on the same surface you'd stand on in a batter's box.
Right. Well, Beltre took Jerry Davis's admonishment less than seriously, and he simply picked up the on-deck circle and pulled it over to where he was standing, and then he got thrown out.
He got thrown out for that, which is absurd. I mean, especially the kind of guy Beltre is. I mean, he loves the game. He plays it with joy. He's he's got to be a Hall of Fame player. And I thought it was hilarious.
If Jerry,
if the umpire had any sense of humor at all, I mean, any recognition of who Beltre is and what he means to the game and what his personality is, he'd have laughed. And then he said, now move it back. I mean, come on, you can't take yourself that seriously. That's wonderful.
2 strikes to Joyce, and Garcia's on the verge, perhaps, of making this 6th inning look more like the 1st inning. There's a breaking ball, a 1-2-3-6, just a handful of pitches, and 2 strikeouts in the 6th inning. Twins will take a 3-run lead to the 7th. Game, the Twins scored early and often in Jaime Garcia's Twins debut. And Garcia got into some trouble, but he got out of it for the most part. Bases loaded, nobody out in the 2nd. Got a double play grounder, leadoff double in the 3rd. He got out of that, and the Twins offensively have had a good night. Jason Castro with a couple of RBI doubles. Castro with an RBI double in the 4th, another one in the 5th inning. And all 3 balls he's put in play have been right down the left field line. So the Twins getting a run in the 2nd, 4 in the 4th, another one in the 5th. And now they'll hit against a new relief pitcher, Simon Castro, a non-roster invitee in spring training. He got called up about a week and a half ago, and he is coming into the game for the 4th time. Adrianza will lead things off. Check swing, ball 1. Adrianza's had a good day at the plate with 2 singles, an RBI, a run scored, and a walk. And and a strike on the outside corner.
I mentioned a little bit earlier the work that Adrianza has done with James Rowson, the hitting coach. You notice just a little bit of a leg kick. He picks his front leg up a little bit. It's helped him be a lot more aggressive, offensive with the bat in his hands. I think a lot of times you look at James Rowson. There are a lot of times guys that come up that aren't naturally great hitters. They don't have a personality of being really offensive, really aggressive, and attacking the baseball. And that's one of the things that James Rowson has and Rudy Hernandez have gotten Adrianza to do, is to get you, really gather your weight on your back leg and let it go. Drive that big end of the bat at the ball. Have fun up there at the plate, and it's paying
Drive
off.
to center. This ball's hit well. Davis back into the shadows, and he makes the catch one away. Adrianza gives it a ride, and on a cool, damp night, not enough to get it over the wall. Tuesday, the Twins' West Coast swing continues in San Diego. A game you can only see on FS1. It all starts Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. on FS1. Watch it live on Fox Sports Go. That means you and I get the night off.
We do.
Whatever will we do with it? We got 2 days off in San Diego.
It's only going to be 84
All right,
degrees. I'm kind of feeling Mission Beach. I'm feeling some body surfing.
Oh, really?
I am.
There's Castro. And what did that pitch miss?
I grew up at the beach in L.A. I don't get to do that an awful lot
Well,
anymore.
now, and I'm trying to accommodate your Southern or your California heritage. Tomorrow, you and I are going to go get some In-N-Out burgers.
I guess we are. I would. I might not be able to sleep tonight.
Ground ball to first. Castro retired.
You kidding me? There is a double-double in my future. I like it.
Okay. 2 down, and Brian Dozier will bat. Dozier's had a largely frustrating night at the plate with 3 strikeouts, twice looking, according to Mark Ripperger. Breaking ball that looked outside on replay, and a fastball that looked outside. He does have an RBI single through a drawn-in infield and a run scored in the 4th. No activity in the Twins' pen. It looks like the Twins are going to send Garcia out there for a 7th inning. Strike 1.
Well, I don't think he's at 90 pitches yet. If he is, it's just barely, and so I think they're thinking he's still got plenty. Well, he's right at 90 pitches. I'm told.
Got a couple of extra days between starts. Got a mini bullpen session under his belt upon arrival at Dodger Stadium.
There's your indication of who's going to pitch next inning.
They're not tipping their hand, are they? They're all sitting down. Swing and a foul. 1 and 2.
Well, it's been interesting. I mean, Garcia has only got 90 pitches and so far, and his problem really has not been lack of stuff. It's been just lack of command a little bit, and walking some guys, getting himself in trouble. So no reason not to send him back out there.
4th strikeout of the night for Dozier. And Castro has a 1-2-3 7th inning. You're watching Twins baseball, presented by State Farm. baseball break for you, brought to you by T-Mobile. Matsuhiro Tanaka took a perfect game into the 6th inning, and the Yankees beat the Rays. One of the hottest hitters in the National League, former Twin Kurt Suzuki, having a great July, and he might be a pickup for a contending team who might need a backup catcher. And
I think he wants to stay in that bandbox in Atlanta.
Huh?
I think he wants to stay in that bandbox.
The new ballpark there. Indians have won 8 straight, and oddly they're doing it, maybe not oddly, because we're hearing more and more teams do it, particularly in the second half. The Indians are using a 6-man rotation with Corey Kluber back, and it's obviously working well enough to put the Indians back on top of the division, marginally over the Royals. Garcia out there for the Twins. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
Well, the last inning, the bottom of the 6th, the easy 1-2-3 inning that Garcia has certainly influenced Paul Molitor, his manager, to send him back out there with only 90 pitches.
2-1. Really had to work hard in innings 2 through 4 or 5, I should say.
And this certainly is an uncharted
to the left field corner, and Rosario's there to catch the line drive, 1 away.
Not uncharted territory for him. His season high this year, 106 pitches, and career high 111. So
the last 2 starts for the Braves, he went 7 innings. Against the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers.
Yeah,
now,
good teams.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. We all know what the Dodger lineup can do. And Garcia drove in more runs than he allowed in that game. He had a grand slam and allowed 3 runs, but against the Diamondbacks too, 7 innings, just 4 hits and 1 run. Rajai Davis, the batter, to the right field corner. Pretty much this mirror image of the play Rosario made. 2 down.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
2 down. And starting with Lowry's double play grounder in the 5th, 6 in a row sent down by Garcia. Fastball down and in. Two and 0. Semien with a double and a run scored his last time up. Garcia struck him out twice before that. And a reset for Garcia. I was observing Oakland fans wanted a balk called.
Yeah, the runner should move up.
And a ground ball base hit. And Healy will come up, and we'll see how the Twins play it here with the middle of the Oakland lineup coming up with 2 down in the 7th. And here comes Paul Molitor. Matt Belisle been warming up, and he'll be brought in here, but a pretty good debut, Twins debut for Jaime Garcia. He showed a little bit of everything, a couple of 1, 2, 3 innings, and more importantly, perhaps the ability to pitch out of trouble. And he comes off the mound with the Twins up by 3.
Oh, I'd give him a pretty solid B. A quality start, 6 2/3. We've allowed 3 runs, or at least so far. The runner on first base belongs to him, but at least so far, if they can get out of this. Matt Belisle can shut the door here in the 7th inning. He's 3 runs in 6 2/3, gave his team a chance to win when they really need to win a game. I think very, very solid B. The only negative is I'm looking for better command from him. I bet there's a lot more in there, a lot more strikes. I think it was around 18 of 28 first pitch strikes. He'd like to have 5 or 6 more of those, but other than that, terrific. Because we look at Matt Belisle's numbers.
Look at the bottom number, an opponent batting average of 248. High fly left center field. We talked about Belisle shutting the door. Granite calls for it, and the door is shut, at least in the 7th inning. It'll be a 6-3 score when we resume in the 8th inning. Red Sox lost a ball game. They also lost David Price, who was put on the disabled list today with recurring, I say recurring because it was a problem early in the season, elbow problems. He had an MRI done yesterday and put on the disabled list today. And the Red Sox aren't, at least when I left the hotel today, they hadn't talked about the severity of the injury to Price's elbow. But that is a game changer in the East. There's a ball driven to left, but it's hanging up for Davis, and Kepler's retired. And it is a potential game changer for everybody before the trading deadline, because the Red Sox feel they're in position to get into and do well come postseason play. But if it looks to them like they might have to be without David Price for any length of time at all, they might be much more active than you would have thought in trying to acquire a starting pitcher.
Yeah, they have a really, really nice team, and it just shows you how tenuous it is trying to go out and get free agent pitchers, and you just never ever know about the health and viability of the arms of these guys.
Sano 1 for 4, and now a strike, 1-1.
I want one more run. I wouldn't mind seeing a little ambush here from Sano, or a combination of Sano, Mauer, Rosario.
Chopped up the line, and it's 1-2. I like the phrase you dropped on our audience a couple of years ago, changing the number.
Yep.
It was 5-0, then it was 5-3, then the Twins changed the number to Or it was 5-2.
5-2.
The Twins changed it to 6-2, and then Oakland changed the number.
Right, but the change, not getting stuck on 5 like they did in L.A., where they scored the 5 runs, and you mentioned it earlier, and then didn't do anything else the rest of the game. There's just something about it. I've sat on too many benches and played in too many games, watching how the game unfolds, and whether it's our team or the other one.
Well, since Castro's RBI double that made it 6-2 at the time in the 5th inning, the Twins don't have a hit. They've taken 3 walks, but they don't have a hit since Castro's double drove in the 6th run. 2-2. And now strike 3 to Sano. He struck out 3 times tonight.
Well, like I started to say, though, I just seen it too many times where one team will get a lead, like 5-0, 6-0, or something like that, and then no more runs, and the other team just feels good about catching up.
A minor league move for the Twins with John Ryan Murphy, who was obtained from the Yankees for Aaron Hicks, and Gabriel Moya, left-handed pitcher with awfully good numbers at the Double-A level. He pitched an inning tonight for Chattanooga and had a 1-2-3 inning.
You got it. You got to take a shot on a guy that strikes out 68 guys in 43 innings, don't you?
Right.
Man.
Outside to Mauer. And we've talked about it. Broadcasters have talked about it. Sports writers have written about it for over 100 years. You can't have enough pitching. Well, it's probably at least that way with catching. Catching is in such short supply these days, and I think the Twins were able to get a promising prospect for a disappointing John Ryan Murphy, because everybody's looking for catching help.
And John, make no mistake, I mean, John Ryan Murphy can catch. He's a good, solid defensive catcher. And you're right. If you can do that, you got a chance to stay in the big leagues. To be in the big leagues, stay in the big leagues.
Mauer thought that pitch was outside, but instead it's strike 2. One of the interesting developments that's happened out of the Rochester team. They've got a good team. The team's already produced Barrios and Granite up here for right now, but Mitch Garver, Twins prospect, the catching prospect, is having a really good year at AAA, both behind the plate and at the plate. Really putting up some impressive numbers. He was the #1 catcher. John Ryan Murphy was the second catcher. And now Anthony Recker apparently will back up Mitch Garver. 1-2 to Mauer. And now 2-2.
Well, you can't have too much pitching, and you certainly can't have too much pitching throughout an organization. So to your point earlier about both Barrios and Granite, you force guys to force their way up onto the major league roster. That's obviously the most desirable thing.
Lazy fly to left. Davis under it. And the Twins go 1-2-3 in their half of the 8th. Thank you, Tom Hanneman. Twins in front here, 6-3, bottom of the 8th, starting with Chris Davis facing Matt Belisle. Belisle quickly got the last out of the 7th. He's been really good lately. We talked about the low opponent batting average. Has not allowed a run in his last 11 appearances, and has done particularly well with inherited runners. He only inherited 1 in the 7th inning, but in the role that he's in, it's critical that you do a nice job with those inherited runners. He's inherited now 21 runners, and only 4 have scored. Now he falls behind Davis. Will be followed by Lowry and Chapman. 3-0.
And we're starting to see a little plan for a matchup, I think, with manager Paul Molitor. He's got Taylor Rogers warming in the bullpen. The A's have no right-hand hitters on the bench now. All their right-hand hitters have been in the game. They've got left-handers on the bench, so that's one reason why a left-hander would be warming up. But if you go down, the way a manager would look at this, after Chris Davis, Jed Lowry is not hitting much against left-handers, hitting .230 against left-handed pitching as a switch hitter. Matt Chapman up next is hitting 100, and then you've got obvious pinch hit spots.
On the corner now, 3-2.
Varney and maybe then a left-hander Joyce. So it sets up pretty well for Aaron Rodgers against the Oakland lineup.
Taylor Rodgers.
I'm sorry, did I say Aaron?
Yeah.
I really like Aaron Rodgers, but it's Taylor out there.
Came back from 3-0 to strike out Davis. 1 down.
Well, he got behind, as Dick says, 3-0, as we saw, and then came back with a strike, an outside corner strike, and then coming in under the hands. Really, really nicely done.
Belisle continues to improve his overall numbers, but what he's done in the month of July might pique the interest of a contending team if the Twins don't have the good finish to this road trip and decide to maybe spin some players off. I mean, there's a guy who's a veteran, great in the clubhouse, of course, and he's pitching about as well as he ever has over the last 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, he's been very, very good.
And now strike 2.
So I'm sure Paul Molitor will leave him in there as long as he's getting people out, and if he gets in trouble, then he's got a real good matchup for a few hitters with the left-hander Taylor Rogers.
Pitch is up and Lowry lays off.
Some of the things I've seen Aaron Rodgers do, I wouldn't be surprised if he'd get hitters out.
He'd be a closer, right? He's good in the last 2 minutes of a football game, so he'd be a good closer.
He is a pretty good closer in his sport, that's for sure.
2-2. And now 3-2. Well,
wow, how'd you take that pitch?
Lyle fell behind Davis 3-0, came back to strike him out. Now he got ahead of Lowry, but has filled the count 3-2.
That's a darn fine slider he just threw Lowry. That Lowry took. A lot of left-handers just swung and missed that pitch. Yeah, I mean, that's just a great spot.
Also a strike.
Yeah, it could have been a strike. And again, sometimes, hitters look like they have a really good eye. Sometimes the hitter will take a pitch just because they can't hit it. They just give up and hope for a ball call.
Fly ball, left center field. Granite can catch it. Rosario can catch it, and it'll be Granite out number 2. Well, let's be optimistic, Roy. You and I are approaching the fourth quarter of our lives.
Oh,
Okay.
when does the optimism come?
Well, in our lifetime, we're going to see electronic strike zone, balls and strikes. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I think so.
There's no reason for it not to happen, and we see so many pitches being missed one way or the other, and we'll still need 4 umpires because we have 4 bases. We've got outs to be called at home plate. Here's strike 1 to Matt Chapman.
I will tell you why it won't happen.
But you just said you thought it would.
I think it will, but I'll give you the potential for it not.
Okay.
Why the potential is there for it not to happen.
1 strike to Chapman, and now 2 strikes.
Pitch there. How would you like to be assigned the home plate umpire job, and you say, okay, you get back there and take these foul balls and take this abuse. You're not going to call the pitches. We just want you back there in case at some point in time there's a play at the plate. But in the meantime, if there's not, you're going to take the shots off the mask and the shins.
Oh, I think they
the umpires union is going to say, you know what, we're not in for that.
They'd be tucked away in a Samsonite chair along the backstop until there was a play at the plate.
Okay. Be behind your screen of where the on-deck hitter is standing, if he's just standing back there. And then run up. How about, well, so there's a runner at third.
What an inning for Belisle. He's faced 4 men, gotten 2 fly ball outs and 2 strikeouts. Nice outing for Belisle as the Twins will take a 3-run lead to the 9th. So good through 8 innings. Partial season ticket packages are still available in the Delta Sky 360 Club and Catch. You can still become a Twins season ticket holder today. Become part of the Sweet Spot program. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com or by calling 800-33-TWINS.
Eddie Rosario.
Eddie Rosario will lead things off for the Twins against Daniel Colomé, the only left-hander in the Oakland bullpen. It'll be Rosario, Grossman, and Granite hitting for the Twins in the 9th.
Another youngster as we watch the Oakland A's Major League roster just continue to churn.
Ooh, high and tight. And ball 1.
Yeah, he was thinking about swinging though.
Single his first time up. Since then, a couple of ground balls and a strikeout. Didn't get hit in the hands there, at least. Now down and away. Top 2 teams, the teams ahead of the Twins, they both won tonight. The teams in the Central beneath the Twins, they both lost. Bruce Rondon had a disastrous ninth inning, and the Astros, even though they only got 3 innings from Dallas Keuchel, he gave up 3 walks, 6 hits, 3 runs. Not the best of outings for the Houston Ace. Houston got 3 in the 9th to beat the Tigers. 3-0 to Rosario.
It's interesting.
Down the middle of strike.
Interesting what you can do when you have that kind of lead, isn't it? This late in the season, as Houston does, they just save your ace. You had a bad 3 innings and throw a lot of pitches, and okay, that's enough for you. You get them next time. We'll take it from here.
To right field, and Joyce with a nice running catch. The dive came after the catch, but he made a nice catch. 1 down.
You know, sometimes those dives, they look gratuitous, but they're really not. You can see he's got
Number 36, Robbie.
It's just easier to make that
Grossman.
catch and then fall down than
Right.
it is to try and keep your feet. So that's a nice play.
Little tip of the cap. 1 down. And now Grossman. Again, the Twins here today haven't done anything in terms of run scoring or getting hits for that matter since the 5th inning. Grossman now batting as a right-handed batter. And he's reached in 3 of his 4 plate appearances. Checked his swing. Twins looking for win number 50 on the year. They've been waiting for a while. 4-game losing streak coinciding with everybody else in the division winning every night. At least the teams ahead of the Twins in the standings. Has for the time being changed the complexion of things in the American League Central and in the wild card.
Well, what's interesting about Cleveland and Kansas City, I had the 2 teams ahead of the Twins.
Strike
Man,
ball.
looked outside also, is that Cleveland just has a really great talent. I mean, that team's just loaded with pitching and hitting, and you know, they figure that they ought to. You figure they ought to be good. Kansas City just has got guys that've been there, and that's a big deal. I don't think they have the same team completely that they did. They don't have the complete team, is what I'm trying to say, that they did when they won the World Series, or when they were in the World Series. But they have guys there that know how to win. Perez, Hosmer, and Moustakas, they've been there, and that's a big deal.
Tracked by Healy, and he makes the catch out number 2. And in each case, both with the Indians and the Royals, teams that are traditionally better in the second half than the first half.
Yeah.
2 down.
Now
And now
batting,
Zach Granite.
Number 8, Zach Granite.
And one of the Oakland broadcasters asked me about Zach, saying, you know, how do you pronounce his last name? And it never occurred to me, how else would you pronounce it, right? So I went to Zach, and he said, no, he's of Italian descent, that the true pronunciation before the Americanization of it is Granite. But he plays for the Minnesota Twins. St. Cloud is the Granite City.
There
We got Granite Falls, Minnesota. I mean, if it wasn't Americanized beforehand, he would Americanize it just because of where he's playing.
Is there a better name for a baseball player than Zach Granite? Come on, Zach Granite. He's the Rock.
You're old enough to remember the football player. I think Michigan, Steve Stonebreaker, the linebacker.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, boy, there are some great apropos names in sports.
The quarterback, Sonny Sixkill.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some great names.
Yeah.
But why would you not want to be Zach Granite?
Well, the Twins doing all of their scoring in the first half of the game, and tonight they hope it will be enough. Jason Castro's had a good night at the plate and behind the plate, catching Jaime Garcia and helping Garcia nurse his way through some rough innings, some rough spots, but also a couple of RBI doubles. And now Brandon Kintzler has a save opportunity. A 3-run lead as we go to the bottom of the ninth.
Brandon Kintzler been very, very good as a closer for the Twins. One of the big reasons the Twins have hung around as long as they have. Ran into a little bit of a hiccup in LA, but this is what he's on to do. And it's good that he's pretty good against left-handers mostly, because the Oakland A's have some left-hand hitters on their bench ready to challenge him. Here's the first one.
Bruce Maxwell hitting in what was LaVarnway's spot. And then Matt Joyce in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, and they've got Yonder Alonso lurking at a time when manager Bob Melvin might want to use him too.
Fouled back. You mentioned Dodger Stadium. Kintzler would like to forget all about that. A blown save in the series finale. Was asked to get an out in the 8th. He did, but then ran into trouble in the 9th. Also gave up 3 runs in a third of an inning in his prior appearance against the Tigers at Target Field. 0-2 to Maxwell. And now pitch inside. Down and in, 2-2.
Close pitch just in. Once again, a left-hand hitter laying off a pretty nasty pitch. It's a good spot right there.
Down the line, the twisting foul. In the case of his most recent outing, Kintzler left some pitches up in the 9th inning, sinkers that were left thigh high rather than at or below the knees. And the Dodgers, of course, on a roll anyway. He came back and beat the Giants tonight, by the way, in the late innings. 2-2 to Maxwell. Missing low, 3-2.
Yeah, not by much. That's what makes him effective, Brandon Kintzler. 94 miles an hour with a lot of movement. Watch the movement on this fastball. That's a lot. That's good hard sink action. That's very difficult when he gets that in the strike zone.
So we thought he had strike 3. And instead he ends up walking Maxwell to lead off the inning. Kintzler so good about throwing strike just off.
Now batting, right fielder, number 23.
Well, you can see in this at bat, I mean, he's just on the corner or just off every single pitch. That loud 92 mile an hour pitch outside was the widest, and that was even fouled off. He's not missing by much. He's throwing good stuff in good spots. Just missed that.
And now here's Joyce. Twins have a pull shift in the infield, and there's ball 1. Kintzler walked a couple in his short outing, disappointing outing against the Tigers. And now he's walked the leadoff man here, but usually it's not an issue for him. He's a strike thrower. Pitches to contact. Joyce got one up and tried to make it a 1-run ball game. 1-1.
Well, like any other pitcher, but especially noticeable with Brandon Kintzler, because as you say, he's so good at throwing strikes and just pounding the strike zone with stuff that moves so, with such intensity. His Achilles heel is every once in a while he'll run into a game when he's just missing the strike zone.
to left, and Rosario makes a sliding catch in the gap. Joyce making a bid for an extra base hit. That's a really good play.
That was a terrific play because the ball got in the lights. I'm pretty sure he had to let the ball get into and then come out of the lights and then find it again. And then when he did, we'll see it here. The ball stays up. Joyce hits it well. You see the little hesitation and then find it again. There was the hesitation. And then when you find it, when it gets out of the lights, you have to hope that you're in position to make the catch. And he did a really nice job.
Because the catch was made and the ninth spot in the batting order doesn't represent the tying run, it is not Alonso who is in the on-deck circle.
Jacob
Brugman will hit, and Alonso is in the on-deck circle again. He might hit for Davis. No, Bob Melvin not wanting to send his slugger up there unless or until there are 2 outs or the at-bat represents the tying run.
Right.
Brugman takes ball 1. 115 at bats, 31 strikeouts, a couple of home runs, and only 1 ground ball double play. Foul back.
Brandon Kinsler is the kind of closer that it's really, really obvious that he needs to throw strikes all the time because he doesn't have strikeout stuff. He doesn't have just absolutely unhittable stuff.
3-1.
It's hittable. It's just usually not hard hittable. and when you don't have overpowering strikeout stuff, a la the guy in Boston or Kimbrel, you just have to pound the strike zone.
3-1 pitch tapped foul right off the end of the bat. 15 pitches. Kinsler in just 7 strikes.
Dennis Eckersley didn't have overpowering stuff. He just threw every fastball in the outside corner and said, here, if you can beat me with a home run by pulling an outside pitch on the outside corner, then more power to you. He knew that you can't do that. But he was a strike thrower deluxe, and that's what Brandon Kinsler is when he's good.
And he got him to chase ball 4. Might have foul tipped it, but Castro hung on. Big break there as Brugman chased a pitch off the plate for out number 2.
Well, when you have this kind of movement on your fastball and a guy hasn't seen you before, you can take advantage of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the
That's what he did there.
Batting for Rajay Davis, number 17, Yonder Alonso.
Alonso with a great first half. He deserved to go to the All-Star game and did. And since then, he's struggled a bit. A couple of home runs in the series at Target Field. The power emerging late in his career, not known as a big power hitter, but 21 already on the year. Swing and a miss. Alonso last year, 482 at bats. He hit just 7 home runs.
Yeah, surprising with the guy with the power that we've seen this year that it's been so late arriving.
He did some mechanical things with his swing. He wanted to try to generate more power, and boy, has it worked.
Yep. He's had 5 at bats against Kinsler. Lifetime, 1 hit and a strikeout.
1-1 from Kinsler. 1-2. What makes it so odd, the 7 home runs just last year, just 2 off his career high. The guy that had over 2,000 at bats and never hit more than 9 home runs in a season, and this year he jumped up to 21. Kinsler's ahead of him, 1-2. Two and 2. 20 pitches for Brandon, and only half of them strikes.
Going to try to get him out with that hard sink on the outside part of the plate.
And he reached across and got a foul.
He's thrown him 5 pitches, 3 sliders. He started with a slider for a swing and miss strike. Showed him 3 sliders and 2 fastballs. Gonna go to the bread and butter again. There's hard sink outside.
Line foul at 94.
Be interesting to see what Jason Castro wants to do here. Alonso obviously protecting against that sinker away, hitting the ball to left field. Yeah, there's a slider. He really wants to come back inside with something.
Booked foul. I don't like that sound in the 9th inning.
That ball was hit hard, but again, that slider in like that to hit the ball on the fat part of the bat, oftentimes in that location, that's the best a hitter can do. It sounds bad, looks bad, but it's hard to keep that ball fair. And I like Castro's thought there. Alonso really leaning out, trying to take that sinker out on the outside away. Now he's going to come in with it with a fastball.
And a tapper foul. That's kind of what happened to Brandon in Los Angeles against the Dodgers. He got the Twins off the field in the 8th, but he threw so many pitches in the 8th and then ran into trouble right away in the 9th. And Alonso's done a nice job here fouling off a lot of 2-strike pitches. 25th pitch of the outing for Kinsler.
Back away with the sinker.
3-2, and if Alonso keeps the game alive, Semien will come up as the tying run.
See if Brandon can come up with something here. He hasn't had his great command, and he hasn't had the most intense sinker that we've seen him have. It's not, the sink movement's not overpowering yet. See if he can come up with something. Castro getting him to shake his head, trying to get something else in the hitter's mind, and now come back with a sinker. See if they can get a ground ball.
Popped up. Sano with a long run, and he squeezes it. And as in every other streak the Twins have had this year, the streak, in this case a losing streak, ends at 4.
Well, the Twins break their losing streak in really great fashion. They get their new guy, Jaime Garcia, give him a quality start. 6 2/3 innings, 3 runs. Give the club a chance to score some runs and get back on the winning track. That's a nice victory.
Tom Hanneman, the Twins came out here hoping for a successful, winning road trip. They can do that with a big win here tonight. We'll see what happens the rest of the way, but the Twins needed a win here tonight, and they got it.